Hi, community. Welcome back to another episode of Allie's Take. And I'm Coach Allie, and I'm happy to be with you today. And it's been a minute. I have been on a vacation. Um, it was kind of a longer vacation. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about travel. And also, I have a couple of book recommendations for you today. I get that question so much in the community about certain books that might be helpful in recovery. So I'm going to share my two favorite recommendations with you. There were so many books that I read during my recovery, um, but I found that the two I'm going to share with you today were the most valuable for me. So before we dive into that, I wanted to take just a moment and talk about my recent travel. Travel is something that comes up so much in the community as well. When we are dealing with insomnia, sometimes that idea, that prospect of traveling and going outside of our home, kind of our what's become our comfort zone, can feel really scary. And there can be a lot of anxiousness that comes up. Even when we've been doing pretty well and maybe sleeping a lot better at home, then just this thought of traveling and this trip might bring up some residual or some kind of hidden fears around that, right? Totally normal and it's temporary. So that's really important to understand. But this trip that I took, it was a 10-day vacation, and it's probably the longest, well, it's definitely the longest trip I've taken since my recovery. And it was my first international travel since my recovery. And I'm happy to report that it all went really, really well. And I did have maybe a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of anxiety, very manageable, however. And I knew that it wasn't going to stop me from doing what I wanted to do. And if that is the takeaway that I could give you today, that would be it, is to do what you want to do regardless of what is happening at nighttime. The reason being, the more we engage in living the life that we want to live, living our values, doing those things that are important to us, the more we step into that, the more likely it is that insomnia is going to be one of those things that just starts losing importance. It's going to show our brain that we are indeed safe, that we are okay. When we isolate, when we make our world really, really small because we're so afraid of what is happening, unfortunately, these behaviors, they really confirm to the brain that we are, in fact, in this life threatening danger. And that, of course, is not the case. And so, the most valuable thing I can tell you today, when it comes to travel, and really when it comes to so many things that we want to do in our lives, but we're allowing insomnia to stop us because of the fear, because of that anxiety, I'm here to tell you to do it anyway. Do it anxious, do it afraid. Live the life that you want to live now because it's always now. Life is always happening right now. I know that this can feel bigger than just about anything. It can take so much of a toll on us and it can feel unsurmountable. But when we start to slowly take our power back from the experience of insomnia and we start living our lives again the way we want to, the way that's meaningful to us. By doing that, we are taking our power back and we're showing the brain that we really are okay. So if you can think of travel or anything that you want to do during your insomnia experience that you're feeling afraid of, think of this as an opportunity to learn, to meet this fear, and to do what we want, even when we feel anxious or fearful. Sometimes we just have to act, even if it feels scary. We do the thing because we are stronger than insomnia. We actually are stronger than we think we are. And this does take some courage. And we talk about that all the time, this balance between courage and kindness. It's, of course, going to take some courage to do these things that we want to do where when we feel anxious, when we feel afraid. But I promise you that once you get to the other side of that, it is so empowering and it really will help and start to propel your recovery. So the point there is just living our life, doing those things that we love and value, regardless of sleep. Sleep is one of those things that has taken up so much time and space in our lives when we have insomnia. We've put it on this pedestal and made it so important when really it's just sleep. It's not going to hurt us to sleep little. And even on those days when we haven't got the ideal sleep, we can still live a life we value. And that is so important as we move towards recovery. And the third point I just want to make around that is you're going to be okay. You really, really are. I know in the throes of it, it feels like this is all encompassing. It's taking up all of your time and energy. And if you can start to re engage in those things that you love, those things that insomnia has robbed from you, that you love about your life, this is when things are going to start to shift. It does not have to write the narrative. You get to do that. And that's pretty exciting. Letting insomnia take a back seat and you get to be the one at the wheel. This is your life. So live it to the best of your ability, regardless of sleep. And that's what's going to show the brain that you're okay. Now, we're moving on. I'm going to share with you a couple of my very favorite books that really helped me during my recovery. So the first one is called Living Untethered by Michael Singer. Both of these books are more spiritual books. There's definitely some more scientific, like sleep books that I read around insomnia. But to be honest with you, they weren't very helpful. They were too heady. I was already too much in my head, and so these books they were helpful in kind of zooming out. Right. So that my focus wasn't so intensely just on this one specific thing, but it was more about living, right? It was about a life I wanted to live. And this whole journey became a spiritual experience for me and transformation, really growth. So this book, Living Untethered, he has another book too, and it's called The Untethered Soul. That's his first book. He has several books, but this is the second of his. So Untethered Soul is equally as wonderful, but this one for me was a little bit more practical and a little bit more tangible. So I highly recommend this book. And it is all about learning to let go. It's about understanding the art of surrender. So I would highly recommend that one. And the next book that was really helpful for me during my insomnia recovery is this book, When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. Pema is a Buddhist teacher and philosopher, and it is really the essence of Buddhism is about it's our natto concept. It's learning to be less attached to the outcome. And so this book is so helpful in accessing more information and more practical ways to get more comfortable with uncertainty because really in life there's just so much uncertainty. There is so much that we don't have control over. And learning to be able to stay in our own center and be okay no matter what's happening right around us and even in us, finding that center, finding that okayness within is just a really valuable thing. And it's really kind of what happened in my recovery over time is that I found within me a steadfastness over and over again of it meeting this experience of discomfort in a new way over time that developed this steadfastness, an embodied knowing, a felt experience that I knew I was going to be okay, no matter what the night looked like, no matter how crappy I felt the next day. I knew that I was going to be okay. I knew that I was going to get through this and that I would come out better because of it. And the truth is, that did happen. And it will for you too. You are going to be okay. And I encourage you to go on that trip. Do the thing that you really have been putting off because of insomnia. Do it anyway. Do it scared, do it anxious, do it. One of the things I like to ask myself going through my insomnia journey is two questions. And this is actually from Drew Linsalata from The Anxious Truth. I'll give credit where credit is due. But the question is, what would non-anxious me do? What would non-insomnia me do? Do that. And that's what I did. And it was really difficult at first because nobody wants to be uncomfortable and nobody wants to face all these fears. Fear is one of those things that we want to avoid, but it isn't dangerous. It's just an emotion and it passes. So do the thing, do what you want to do, live your life. And I hope that this sheds some light for you on your path. I hope that it's valuable. And you can always find me at thesleepcoachschool.com. You can always reach out to me on my Instagram. Ali Sacred Sleep Coach is my handle on the Instagram. But you can find me in a lot of ways. And I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks for coming to this channel. Thank you for supporting it. If you need further support on your recovery journey, know that we're here for you. You can go to thesleepcoachschool.com. Lots of resources. Thanks for being here today. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Hi there, it's me, Coach Daniel, and I hope it is obvious to you to what degree we at the Sleep Coach School really try to put out content that will help you on your path to peaceful sleep and peace of mind. And I hope you really enjoyed the video that you just watched. Now, some people don't learn the best by watching videos, but rather by reading. And I wanted to share a little tip with you. The books that most people really talk about having helped them is This Is Nato and Set It and Forget It. But I think most people miss out on my personal favorite, which is Tales of Courage. All of my books are available on Amazon. But Tales of Courage is special because in Tales of Courage, we've taken 26 success stories from the channel, and we've taken sort of the most powerful language, the most inspirational and educational parts of those interviews and put them in a book. And I think it is really, really so strong, so powerful when you read those words from other people who left the struggle. And that's my little tip to you. Tales of Courage, I think, is a great book, and it's available on Amazon, of course. So if that's appealing to you, you can head over there and get a copy. But more than anything else, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel, and can't wait to see you again. Bye for now.